how do you recommend people mitigate that and ensure that organizations, as they grow and scale, aren't just high flow, but are high performance, which I think can actually be two different things as well?
Sure. I mean, I think it's clear that, flow is not analog to firm success. There are too many variables at play. First, looking at it from the startup perspective, and then we can kind of talk about the bigger one. But from the startup perspective, I mean, these are startups that are in an accelerator program. By definition, acceleration means to increase the speed. Really, but all startups, like that is really their core objective, is to move fast. I mean, what Facebook says, move fast and break things. Like there's so many metaphors for this stuff, but their goal is to move as quickly as possible. They have a burn rate of how much they spend a month. They've got a runway of how much time they have till all that money is gone, and they need to execute as quickly as possible. So if you're not keeping up with the pace of that organization, you can't hide in the management layer. It is so visibly transparent. And I'm not sure, like speed is important for sure, but most founders take that speed to the extreme, right? Because they're not really defining what they're chasing anything beyond that runway, and if they're thinking about this early on in the process, they'll keep their burn rates lower. They'll be more conservative in the process. They'll buy themselves a bit more time. But once they dive in and they get committed to that really fast pace, they're in trouble, right? They're generally in trouble because you can't really hide in that context. Larger organizations, I mean, I don't see that when we're talking about it in the context of flow, like things slow down in a bigger organization. When it's cash flow positive and it's generating money, you're not looking for product market fit anymore. You're now looking for optimization and market share. And that means you've got more bandwidth. If you're taking in more money than you're spending, then your runway is getting longer. You're essentially, for every dollar of profit, you're buying yourself more time. And I think this variable of time is really the core difference between a stable kind of growth stage business or scale up versus a startup. Startup has the one resource, they say, I need more money. But in the end, all money is doing is buying them time to get closer to product market fit and profitability. So, it's such a different context in that regard. And I'm certainly not an expert on big companies because I've never worked for one in my life, but it's almost like comparing, apples and oranges in that regard in terms of the experience and how you're kind of optimizing. I think, if you can create more flow, you can create more productivity, if you can create more well-being, feelings of autonomy and competence, I think that those things work across the board. But as long as you have this like speed variable in there, you're generally in for more struggle than you could want.